Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 73. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. And for the third week in a row, Tiara Atari. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
All right, what's up?
Not much. Just living life, trying to make sure I don't get the Rona, here in Texas. Because nobody knows how to wear masks around here.
Yeah. People in DC do.
Yeah, well, that's good for you, I guess.
Yeah, staying Rona free over here.
Well, let's get started. For those of you who haven't listened before, the Player's Take is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app of choice. We also post on YouTube on 6 a.m. Central Time on Saturdays. Let us begin, like we always do, with what we've been playing. One of you two take it.
Tiara can go first.
All right, Tiara, you go first.
Oh, you're going to be very disappointed in me. I have to be honest. I have not played anything this weekend. Life has been really getting to me.
Look,
no, we definitely understand.
This is we 100% understand. Like there's sometimes life gets in the way. You just can't play. Like it happens, and
we definitely had a couple of weeks on the podcast where it's like,
I'm not playing.
Well, me and Montrell are going to get on Modern Warfare this week, so I will have something to play for next.
Maybe on stream.
Yeah, maybe on stream.
Ooh,
yeah.
Plug. Okay, well, look, it's fine. Don't let it happen, for 4 weeks in a row, Tiara. But for 1 week we'll let you slide. All right.
I'll do better, I promise.
All right, Montrell, what have you been playing, dude?
Last week I played nothing but The Last of Us, like all week.
Okay, and, fair enough.
I was playing a little bit of League of Legends in between there and here and there.
No, hold on. Tell the world about your new love.
What's my new love?
Valorant.
Oh yeah, this game's fucking awesome, yo. I played it for the last 2 days. I just downloaded it yesterday, or the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? I don't know. Whatever. I just downloaded it, but I wanted to see what it was like because I've been looking for a shooter just to get into and probably stream, like a relatively new shooter where like the community is not already gods. So. So I picked up Valorant because I downloaded 3 shooters. I downloaded Crossfire X, the beta for that's on the Xbox, like an Xbox exclusive, I think it is.
What the fuck is that game?
Yeah, I played it. It's like a pseudo Counter-Strike mixed with Call of Duty type deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I downloaded Warface Blackout, or is it Black Zone or something like that. I downloaded that, and that it's actually has the Crisis engine running in it. The thing is, it's terrible on consoles because every time you engage an enemy, it's a competitive shooter like Counter-Strike, but like running with the Crisis engine and everything of that nature. But every time you shoot somebody, the game lags. Like every encounter on the console. That's
awful.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
So a lot of people it just got released, so a lot of people are like, the developers need to fix it because they see the potential. The game has a potential to be fun, but they need to fix it on consoles. Like that shit is just unreliable as fuck. So I was trying to look for like a console shooter to do that with because like I tried to play Warzone and everything like that, and it's like just too many people already know where the good spots are in Warzone.
Bro, just play Apex, man, with me, man. Let's play Apex.
No, let's play Warzone.
See, look at I'm torn between two people.
Play Apex, man. We'll get Snakes on there, bro. He'll be streaming. The
problem is though,
Warzone is actually fun.
Both games are fun. The problem is with Warzone, right? I have to learn the mechanics because they don't have attachments on the guns at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to attach it ahead of time in your loadout.
Yeah, so you gotta do that. And then on Apex, I want to play with you guys, but the thing is, I'm gonna get matched up with people that like have the same amount of hours as you guys. So I'm gonna get destroyed when I play with you.
Come on, man.
I don't know if it's gonna balance it out because all I got is like.
Look,
maybe...
I'll make a new account. I don't give a shit.
You gonna make a Smurf account?
Yeah, I'll make a Smurf account. We'll pwn some noobs on stream for a few hours, and then once we get up to the real leagues, we'll get destroyed.
All right, I guess I could do that. So that's why I jumped into Valorant, actually, right? So I jumped into Valorant, even though this game's been out for about 4 or 5 weeks, I think, and they had an alpha and a beta. It's still fun to play. You can't jump into competitive until you get to a certain level, just like League of Legends.
Yep.
So I just been playing norms. And I actually encountered my first hacker yesterday. So I was pissed off about that. Or was it this morning? It was either this morning or yesterday. I can't. Sometimes the days get blurred together. But besides that, though, the game is like Counter-Strike. But, you actually have ADSing. So you can aim down sights and stuff like that with certain guns. In that aspect. But it's also it's a team hero shooter. So you get 4 abilities. You get it's like a MOBA, right? You get your QE, your QWE, and then your R, which is ultimate. But I mean, of course, the buttons are different on this game because you can't use your W's to actually move forward.
Right.
But anyway, you get the point. So you get 4 abilities. So you get one of them is your ultimate and everything of that nature. But the thing is, to use your abilities, you have to buy it like CS:GO. So you know how it's at the beginning of CS:GO, you have to pay for your like weapons at the beginning of the match.
Right, and as the match goes on, you get more money, right?
Exactly. So you have to do that. You get one ability that for free each round, but the other abilities you have to pay into, and then your ultimate charges up over time. So I actually like it from that aspect because it's really. The game's actually really fucking fun. It's 10, I think it's like 10 or 12 heroes released. You start out with 5 free, and you can unlock heroes as you play for free and everything like that. I don't even think you can pay to unlock the heroes. I think you just have to play the game to unlock more heroes. They have cosmetics on the guns and stuff like that, but that's just regular shit. But the game itself though is fun. It's not like Overwatch. Only thing I can compare it to as far as Overwatch is like the abilities, but the way people use the abilities is more strategic. So it's like I'm playing Counter-Strike, but with like an Overwatch flair. It's what I wanted Overwatch to be. I'll say that. This is the game I wanted Overwatch to be. But it's not. So I got Valorant now.
Do you think I'd like it?
If you like Counter-Strike, yeah. If you like CS:GO, then yes. If you didn't like CS, you never played CS:GO? No. It's a competitive shooter, so I mean I can't really describe it to you, but
okay. I'm not sure I would.
It's 5v5. You plant the bomb. That's the game.
Yeah, right.
So, they don't really have any other modes besides plant the bomb, like you attacking side, defending side. So I mean, I like it right now for what it is. Like I said, the game just got released, so I am expecting to release other modes. But for right now, I do like it. It's a very streamable game and it's fun to watch. I'll be watching Shroud play it. Yeah, I like it. It's the kind of shooter I like. I like competitive shooters. I think Overwatch is a little bit too casual for me as far as like playing it. I like the hero abilities in Overwatch, and I like the concept of Overwatch. It was just too casual for me. But like this one's like the perfect balance for me. Like it has a hero aspect to it and a competitive aspect that I like for it as well.
Cool. Well, update us as you play more if you still like it in a week.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Word. Okay. You've been playing anything else?
That's it.
All right. I've been playing Last of Us Part 2 primarily. Similar to Montrell, I spent basically the entire last week playing it and beating it. I have finished it. Montrell's finished it. We are actually going to be doing a separate spoiler cast episode on The Last of Us Part 2. It'll just be me and him. Tiara has not played the game. So that will probably be recorded this week, and I anticipate it'll go up either over the weekend or early next week. So if you want to hear us talk about that for 2 hours or however long we go, you can do that then. Otherwise, I've been playing a little bit of Gwent. New expansion actually came out today, which is exciting. So I was opening some card packs, on my break at work, which was good fun. So. And then I started playing last night. I forgot about this game until a couple days ago. Brigandine, The Legend of Runertia on Switch, which I explained this back when this game was announced, but this is like a turn-based strategy game that is kind of like a war game between 6 different factions. And the game is basically you pick one of the factions to play as, and you have to take the continent over, like completely. That's the game. And you have like your army that is split up into these knights who control these monsters. And the knights have a certain amount of like mana capacity they have, and they can fill up as many monsters as they can that cost a certain amount of mana up into their capacity. And then you take these knights and these monsters into battle, 3 squads at a time against, you attack an enemy and they'll have however many 3 of their own squads defending. And the game is just a turn-based strategy like, Tactics Ogre or Final Fantasy Tactics. It's on a hex grid though. But it's not a super complicated game, but I find it very enjoyable. This game is made by some company called Happinet. I have no idea who they are, but I tried the demo. I haven't bought it yet. I wanted to try the demo to make sure I liked it, and I do. So I think I'm going to be picking this game up and playing it, actually. So I will have more on that as I play it. So, all right, let's move on into the news. I do have a correction for last week. We were talking about the company Toys for Bob, who are making the new Crash game, I believe, Crash 4. We couldn't remember what they've made in the past, and I actually found out they are the ones who made the Skylanders games for a long-ass time.
Okay, so they have
ever since money. Yeah, ever since then, they've kind of been doing more side work, like DLC stuff for the most part. They haven't really made their own game. So, yeah, they're competent studio. Those games, from what I understand, were actually pretty good games. It was just like the model was, obnoxious.
The model was egregious, but from what I heard, the game was really good.
Right. So take from that what you will. All right, let's move into the news proper, and let us start with a follow-up to last week. We talked about the sexual assault allegations within the video game industry. However, we did not mention Ubisoft had a few things kind of come out about them, about some higher-ups in the company. Specifically, one person, or actually 2 people, Maxime Beland, I don't know if I'm saying that right, VP of editorial, which I believe this person is in Ubisoft Montreal or Ubisoft Toronto. And then Tommy Francois, VP of editorial and creative services, were accused separately of abuse allegations, and I even think sexual abuse allegations. One of them, I think it was Maxime, specifically wasn't actually sexual abuse. It was more that he was having an affair with somebody at the company, and he is a married man. So he voluntarily, I believe, is taking a leave. And then Tommy Francois is also on leave as well. And I think there might have been one more.
So one of them were just. So I mean, okay, let me get this straight. Let me get this out the way first of all. Cheating is wrong, obviously.
Right. Yep.
But that's it. He wasn't accused of anything else.
I was thinking the same thing.
That was Max. That was Maxime. The other ones are not as cut and dry as that, from what I understand. Ashraf Ishmael, who is the Assassin's Creed creative director, also had allegations against him as well, for harassment, abuse, even assault. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that came out about Ubisoft executives. There seems to be a lot of issues within this company of people abusing their power. But Ubisoft did take steps, has kind of basically sent all these people on leave while they investigate, and did kind of release a almost, I'd say, toothless statement indicating they were going to do something. But sorry, go ahead.
Is it paid leave?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think it is.
Because, that's what they like to do, paid leave.
Right.
Wow.
Well, so Ashraf Ishmael did step down personally. He stepped down from the role, so I think he's just gone. But I mean, what do you guys think about the one though that is Maxime, like the cheating one? You guys seem to be kind of a little bit more fired up about that.
No, it's just because it's just cheating. I mean, cheating is bad, whatever. But that's between him and his wife and his mistress. Like that's between them three.
That's a personal problem versus
a personal problem. Like that's not nothing egregious or heinous, like rape or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, like I think it's honestly not a good thing that this is getting thrown in the same conversation as sexual abuse allegations, because it's like diluting the conversation. It's this, like that's a separate thing that has nothing to do with sexual abuse. That's a personal issue. Yes, it's wrong, but it's not like a crime, No,
yeah, I agree. It is wrong. It's morally wrong.
Right.
As a professional, it is wrong as a professional, especially if you're doing it with someone at work. Mm-hmm. However, I do not think like this was the whole issue I had with, maybe it was more behind the Tiger Woods thing too, when he cheated on his wife and he lost all his endorsements. I'm like, he just cheated on his wife. That's between him and her. Why is Nike dropping out of this? Well, I mean, was it more to that, Tiara?
No, that's all it was. I mean, it was a lot of women, but
yeah, I mean, it's like 500 women or something like that, right? But
for Tiger, yeah, it was 500
women.
Was it 500?
I was thinking more close to like 50.
Okay, maybe I knew it was 5 somewhere in there. So yeah, barely like 50 women. But that's between him and his wife. That has nothing to do with your. I guess if it's a moral clause in your contract, then yes, I will understand that.
I was like, I guess if it's a moral clause,
but like it's the same thing with Twitch, right? With Dr. Disrespect, he cheated with a Twitch goer at like TwitchCon 2 years ago. And we're still seeing the repercussions behind that. Like Twitch is still not letting that go. So
they said they just banned him.
Well, okay. I was gonna insert this. I forgot about this story. I was just gonna insert this at some point in the show and spring it on you guys for fun. But since you just mentioned it, let's talk about that. Dr. Disrespect has been banned from Twitch, and this is supposedly a permanent ban. The reason for the ban is not known quite at this time. Sorry, say that again?
He said that they didn't tell him. They just banned him. After he just signed a contract with them.
Right. Yeah. So, they just signed a multi-year deal with him, multi-million-dollar deal with him as well. And they're banning him after that, and they have not told him yet what the allegations are, like what the reasoning is. He said this on Twitter. He actually put out a tweet basically expressing that he doesn't know what the reasoning is, but there's tons of people coming out supporting him, also hating on him, whatever the case. But so it's just an interesting situation going on here amongst everything else. We don't know what the reasoning is, but some people are suggesting it's very serious.
Yeah, I've been following it for a while, actually, since it first broke out. So what I've learned since I became a quote-unquote streamer, that Twitch sometimes will just randomly ban you, whether it be for copyright music. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Whether it be for copyright music, or maybe you said something on stream that you didn't really know that you said. Like some people, like sometimes I may say the N-word on stream, and Twitch will actually go through your stuff and like ban you for that.
That's so crazy because you're black.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So like, one of my friends said he got banned randomly for no reason though, and he had to actually go through the process of getting unbanned. And they like removed his channel and everything, but they said, like our automated ban thing removed you and everything like that. So I'm thinking that's what happened with him. He just probably got caught with the automated thing. But then I'm also hearing that the person that his mistress, if you will, or the third party that was in that sexual encounter at Twitch, said that they're actually kind of holding Twitch's balls to the fire and saying they want more recognition, and if they don't get more recognition, they're gonna come out and say something.
Well, they want more money.
Yeah, they want more money, pretty much. That's been the big rumor going around, like the biggest one that everyone's kind of circulating around. I don't know if that's true or not. Like I said, it's just a rumor. It
just seems odd, given that, like, what is the situation here? Like, what could she have on Dr. Disrespect that, like, would make Twitch act in this way, unless it was some sort of sexual abuse allegations,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe it's a sexual abuse allegation. That's the only thing I could think of.
If it was just a consensual sex that was an affair, like that is not who cares? Like, no, that is irrelevant to having Dr. Disrespect on your network. Like, to me, at least, I don't know. Maybe Twitch feels differently about that, but they are a weird platform. They have very strange rules that are very unclear in a lot of ways, and they also just seem to ban you because they don't like you, or like they don't ban you for reasons unknown. Like someone like I'm thinking of Alinity or whatever her name is, who does all this crazy shit on stream, like throws her cat behind her and fucking makes out with her dog and shit on stream, and like never gets any bans or anything, like no discipline at all.
Well, they banned a couple of other female streamers for like maybe they had a tank top on or something like that. And
really?
Right.
Yeah,
yep.
No, this is
I can't show my dress.
Tiara, I'm dead ass serious. Like it was one girl who wasn't even showing cleavage. She just had a tank top on and she showed her shoulders, and they banned her for that. They're like, you're showing sexual content. And then there was one girl who she's like, I have big boobs. What the fuck am I gonna do about this? Like, I have fucking big boobs. I can't hide that shit. And she was showing the minimum amount of cleavage. Like, cause there are some female streamers out there. Like, I mean, whatever you gotta do to get your money, I ain't hating on you. But they do show a whole bunch of cleavage, and they get a whole bunch of subscribers just because of that shit. But it's other female streamers who are legitimately good at video games and stuff like that, and they may just so happen to show cleavage one day out the fucking week, and they get banned for that shit. Like that was happening last year, wasn't it, Justin? Where all those people were getting banned.
Yep.
And it was happening. It wasn't happening on Mixer because Mixer had like a clear cut guidelines on what to show, what to wear on stream, which was like kind of controversial, but I guess I understood why they did it. But yeah, Mixer or Twitch was just like, yeah, we don't like you, so we're gonna ban you. You're showing too much cleavage this day, so we're gonna ban you.
It's like they're like Twitter with it too. They do this, like Twitter, I feel like does the same stuff where they like selectively decide they don't like certain people and like ban them for whatever, you know. And it's like, it's kind of annoying because it's like, at least I don't care who you ban for what. Just make it clear that that's something you're going to ban for, you know? That's the problem with Twitch, is like they don't make this clear. These rules aren't posted anywhere. They just decide that this is a rule one day, and they're like, or the specific person reviewing the content decides that this is offensive, and you know, it's like that is not healthy for a platform, even though I know it's Twitch is huge. Arbitrary. But yeah, it's arbitrary. Exactly. How are these people supposed to navigate this if they don't know what they're being banned for? Like, I don't know. It feels odd to me that they can ban somebody like Dr. Disrespect and not tell him why. You know, it's like, because it could be for any reason. It could be a racist reason. It could be sexist. It could be anything. Like, you know, and they don't have to disclose that. So it's like that's nuts. Obviously, in Doc's case, it's probably not that, but it could be in someone else's. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised like his lawyers didn't get involved or anything.
It's that they just signed his contract with him, though.
Right. I know, it's coming out of nowhere too. Yeah, which is something is happening behind the scenes. There's some leverage being had by whether it's this female streamer that he was associated with or something else associated with him that is leveraging Twitch into doing this. That's my feeling on it. That's my gut. I don't know.
It just seems so weird though. Like, why? Yeah, like Tiara just said, they just had a fucking contract. Where's his lawyers at? Like, how come no one's jumping on this? Like, if I was his lawyer, I know he has a lawyer somewhere.
Yeah.
And I would be jumping on like, you violated the contract, bro. Like,
they probably are. That's the thing about this too for me with Twitch, is like, this like looks bad for them because they did just sign him. And all of a sudden, they've changed their mind and they don't like Dr. Disrespect anymore. It's like because they're afraid it's going to make them look bad. That's the thing about it, is I think it's something that does make Twitch look bad. Like they were looking past something with him, and now that they're getting threatened to be called on it, like they're taking action. You know.
Well, the thing is, like you were saying with Twitter, there was a huge thread that came out like a couple of months ago. I think before the pandemic broke, actually, or maybe it actually broke out at the beginning. It didn't get as much clout as it should have gotten, but like the head of Twitter security or some shit like that, I don't know what you would call those people that run the bans and everything like that, actually had it out for certain people. Like it was a dude on Twitter called Zach Fox, and he got banned for no reason at all. Like, he was like a comedian and everything like that, but he got banned. He wasn't making sexist jokes or anything like that. If anything, he was going against that kind of stuff, right? And he got banned. and no one knows why he got banned. But it turns out like certain people just have the power to go rogue and ban. If you're in that department, you can ban whoever you wanted to ban, and the company will kind of back you. Like they'll do their hardest to back you until it's unreasonable evidence that you ban them out of bias and not out of like good faith. So I think Twitch, this is just a speculation, but I think Twitch has the same mentality. I think a lot of these people that run I don't know what kind of department you'll call that, but I just call it the ban department.
I'd say like social relations or something like that.
Yeah, social relations department or whatever. I think a lot of those people have autonomy where they can just do whatever the fuck they want to do. And they come in one day and they feel like they want to ban you, or they find your channel and you say one thing that they don't agree with, then you're banned. And
that's what I like kind of worry about with this. Is like, certain political viewpoints or in either direction like could set a certain person off and you just get banned for that. It's like that's a horrible situation to be in. Imagine you're trying to make your living off of this and you say something that somebody politically disagrees with, whether it's like morally correct or not. It's like, and you're just going to get banned for that. It's like that's not a great situation. To me, it's not. That's not a platform I would really want to go on. I don't know. Like, we're kind of skirting around the edges of politics here with this conversation, I guess. But it's it's part of the discussion though, because if you're gonna ban somebody for something, you should probably be consistent in that, because then you just look biased, and that's
tell him why they banned him.
Right. And that's why it's sketchy to me that they're not telling him, because then they don't have to hold anyone else to account,
And I think that's the reason why they're not telling, because I think this is the case. I think that is the case. Someone got sensitive. A lot of people. Yeah. Someone did get sensitive about his stream. They were like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to ban him and just go rogue. And I think that's what happened. And Twitch really can't admit that situation happened. So they're being really quiet about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That just seems unlikely here though, because he's such a big part of their platform and there's so much money in him and his brand for Twitch that there's got to be a real reason, It's just something that I think might apply to a lot of Twitch streamers, and they don't want that to get out because then they would need to hold all those people accountable.
Well, the thing is, it's been a week now, I think, right?
Yeah. Yes, it has. Like,
people need to know why this guy was banned.
It's going to come out eventually. A lot of people say they already know what it is, and it's like, I don't see this lasting forever. Like, the answer is going to come at some point. So when it does, we will be back to this story. I am positive about that. So, all right, let us move on to our next story. It is about Microsoft, and they formerly had a bunch of retail stores because they are going to be closing them all except for 4. So they're going to be Microsoft has 83 brick and mortar locations throughout the world. They're only going to be keeping 4 in London, New York, Sydney, Australia, and Redmond, Washington. But they're not going to be stores per se. They're going to be experience centers, quote unquote. So, Tiara, I think you had a lot of thoughts on this. You want to take this first, I guess?
Yeah, so the whole point of Microsoft having brick and mortar stores to begin with was to have a face for Microsoft. People didn't like the fact that they couldn't go and complain directly to Microsoft. Back when Xbox had that red ring of death, and everybody had to send in their Xbox, and sometimes you wouldn't get it back, for weeks, months even.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the same as, now something's wrong with my Xbox, I could just take it to a Microsoft store.
Yep.
It just goes back to what we were saying last week about Microsoft. If something is not profitable immediately for Microsoft, they just cut ties with it.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. Continue.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. It is interesting for me. I knew they had brick and mortar stores. They just feel like a company though that like I didn't really understand the point of them, because you can buy everything the Microsoft sells either through online sites or through other stores, you know, like
Well,
Best Buy or whatever, you know.
Well, Microsoft stores were also like experience stores as well. You can go into a Microsoft store and have a technician tell you how to use Windows.
Right.
They have many classes there in Microsoft stores. Also technicians work there, so you can take your PC to get repaired there. I mean, there were various things that happened at a Microsoft store, but what I think happened is that Microsoft thought that they was going to be like Apple.
Yeah, right.
Not have brand loyalty like Apple. That's the difference. People are loyal to Apple, myself included. You know, it's not the same with Microsoft. They don't have a dedicated brand like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think the problem is like Microsoft is a software company and they want to be a hardware company, and they've been trying to make that transition for like 10 years. I feel like now, and it's not really gone very well for them. And this is kind of evidence of that for sure, because like you said, they want to be Apple. They want the Apple like store kind of experience, but it failed. Clearly, the fact that they're closing all these stores is like
I think
clearly it didn't work for them.
I think they messed up with their phones. If they would have just made their phones Android, just kind of did a partnership with like Google or something like that, and made it Android and try to make it better on their own hardware, I think a lot more people would have been inclined to go in that direction for Windows phones. And
I don't know. Windows phones were dope.
They were dope, but they were so closed apps. Yeah. Like a lot of their apps were closed.
Yeah.
Nobody made apps for phones.
Well, see, they had the reverse problem that Macs have for like video games. That
you're right.
Like, Microsoft phones people didn't make their apps for Microsoft phones because they weren't like prevalent enough in that space. The same way Macs aren't prevalent for gamers, video games really aren't put on Mac that much. So,
right. And
I think they have their hardware. Their one piece of hardware they do have. Another thing is that they don't have a dedicated. I think Gateway was their computer. Was Gateway their main like hardware line?
No.
Okay.
Their hardware line is a Surface line.
That's all they have for computers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
they don't have desktop PCs.
Yeah, they need them. They need to make them. Like if they did that, I think a lot more people.
They have something like a iMac. It's like a huge Surface thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember. But the thing is, right? I bought a Surface, and I said that my experience on here with a Surface before. When I was in high school, when I was in college, and even after I graduated college, I tried to use the Surface tablet as my like Wacom tablet, and the pen was just fucking horrible. Like they advertised it for artists, but you couldn't dual touch it. Like it didn't have dual touch on it at all. So it was like if I wanted to dual touch and use one hand for one thing and use the pen for another thing, I couldn't do that, and it was really bad.
Well, they're also hyper expensive for what they are too.
Exactly, because they're pretty much a laptop, which I liked about it, and I was like, "This is gonna be like my all-in-one."
Yeah, but they're not as good as a laptop. Like that's the thing. They're not like
the Surface Pros are.
I had the Surface Pro. I still have it actually. Well, actually, I think I just had a Surface.
I feel like the Surface Pro after the Surface Pro 4 and up is when they really got good.
Yeah, I got the Surface 3.
I've looked into this though. They're not good for like hardcore. Like you can't use them for gaming really. Like for certain games, I'm sure you can, but
there's no dedicated graphics card.
Right, exactly, and that's a problem with how much they cost. That's a problem to me.
But they were not made for that. They were made for gaming.
Right, they were made for like the art. The way they advertised, they looked like they're made for artists, but they didn't fix the dual touching. To me, if you're gonna advertise this for like going against iPads and stuff like that, I can use an iPad for like a program called ZBrush. I can use it for that, and it has the pressure sensitive thing and everything for their pens. Like their touchpad is like fucking, or the touch screen is fucking ridiculously good. And then let's say I don't want to use an Apple product. I want to use the Surface like I did. I went to their 3rd generation line and it's still shitty. Like I shouldn't have to wait for the 4th generation for it to become good. Like that should have been settled in like the 1st, or I even give you the benefit of the doubt, the 2nd generation, the Surface 2. That should have been solved there, but it didn't.
Yeah, and why do these things cost $1,500 if they don't if they're not powerful enough to do like anything beyond like drawing. You know, it's like I've looked into this for like game dev too, and game developers say they suck. Like they're not good for game dev either. Like so they're exclusively for like artistic stuff. Like that just seems like almost like niche, you know? They're not for how much they cost. I just don't understand like why Microsoft, like, I don't know. I mean, they seem to have gotten penetration with the brand at this point, and it's taken a while, but it's just.
I mean, they look slick. I like them. I like how they look.
They do, yeah.
And another thing
I just wish
is
they
like,
could do more.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if they're trying to do this, but they should have some. They should advertise more integration with like the Xbox. That's your main hardware, and they're not doing that. Like in my opinion, they're not showing that off. Like, hey, you can do this with your Xbox. You can stream it, and I know it does stream with the xCloud thing that's coming out. But my thing is like, it should have more to do with the Xbox integration or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like you should be able to play certain games like Gwent or whatever the fuck. Like if I want to play it on my Xbox, I can. But if I want to also play it on my Surface with my Xbox Live account, I should be able to do that. So yeah. It's just
but
like
you can't do that though.
You can, but that's the problem. Like I don't know that.
The Xbox app, you can do that.
Okay, see, I don't know that though. I didn't know that. I just guessing they don't really advertise it like that.
Yeah,
at all.
Well, it's funny. I'm looking at the desktop one you guys were talking about. It's the Surface Studio, is what it's called, I think. And it's it looked like the video thumbnails look like it's for like artists, like there's somebody like drawing on it, you know. And yeah, it's so I mean, the brand is here to stay. It just seems like I've always wanted a Surface. That's the stupid part about it. I've always wanted one. It's just like they don't do enough for what I want, you know. And it's frustrating for how much they cost, at least to me, I guess. I don't know. Something that a laptop could do better, you know, for the most part. So, yeah, so they'll be closing all the stores. I think that's happening. I don't think it's happened.
Well, the thing is, all of the stores are closed for COVID. They're not reopening.
Oh, that's true. That's a fair point. Yeah, so they're just not going to reopen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks. Because yeah, I'm assuming a lot of the employees were furloughed, right? And they're probably just done now.
Supposedly they're keeping all of them. Supposedly.
What are they going to do with them?
I don't know. That's why I said supposedly. Like, that's what they say. So.
That's weird. Yeah. Well, hopefully they get to keep their jobs or they find something else. But yeah, so. Microsoft will only have a few brick and mortars in the future. So, all right, let's move on to our next story. This one is I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in games before. Amazon released a game called Crucible about a month ago, and it has flopped so hard they're putting it back in beta. Basically, they're unreleasing it.
Yeah, and I mentioned last week that I think it only had a concurrent player count of 300 people.
That is wow. Yeah, so this is a team-based shooter, like a arena shooter, I think, and it's not gotten any traction whatsoever. Like even on Twitch, which Amazon owns, which is hilarious.
Montrell. You and I will be playing.
Yeah, we're gonna try it out.
Life into this Crucible game.
We're gonna make it popular, guys. Let's do it. We're gonna own this game. Yeah, but I'm trying to think back to something similar like this, and I really can't think of anything like
Battleborn.
No, man. No, that game just failed and shut down. Like I can't think of a game that came out, like officially launched. It was so bad that it had to go back into development. Basically,
that's easy. Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn.
Oh, that's a good call. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, yeah. Okay, all right.
Final Fantasy 14 did that same thing.
Okay, but that's a little different. Like this is like
it's the same thing. They went back to it was so bad that people were just like, you're right. You gotta go back to the drawing board.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right. Good call. Yeah, I mean. Like, have you guys watched any trailers of this game or anything, or any gameplay?
I've seen advertisements on Twitter. That's it.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Well, maybe that's why the game failed.
That's literally the only thing I've seen. This game came out at the wrong time, honestly.
I had literally zero idea this game was coming out. Zero. None. And I follow news every week. We do a weekly news podcast about video games, and I had no clue this game was coming out.
They kind of
Zero.
just dropped it, and they expected it like
right.
I guess I understand why people have huge marketing budgets, but Jesus Christ, you didn't pay any YouTubers, you didn't.
Amazon? Come on, dude. Amazon didn't do this right. Like they have their CEO has more money than most companies have. Like, and they didn't market this. Like, come on, man. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Man. Yeah.
Well, the players take will make this game popular.
We'll try, I guess. You guys are gonna play it. I can't wait for next week when you guys come back and tell me that this is horrible. It's like it was like completely unplayable. Like you can't even, you can't stand it.
The exact opposite reaction. It could have been the best thing since sliced bread.
I'm very interested in trying this game. I'm gonna try it.
I'll be interested in your reactions. Maybe I'll watch you guys stream it. Like if you stream it, let me know. I will be your one viewer. And I'll fuck with you guys in the chat. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. This next story is actually very intriguing. The more I think about it. So Discord today announced that they are rebranding themselves as a chat app. And they said their new slogan is going to be "Your place to talk." And then their CEO released a statement basically saying, quote, "Games are what brought many of you on the platform and will always be grateful for that. As time passed, a lot of you realized and vocalized that you simply wanted a place designed to hang out and talk in the comfort of your own communities and friends." Could they be trying to distance themselves from video games more right now? Because holy crap.
I think with all the allegations that came out last week, I think this is already in the works, but probably got fast tracked last week. And
I
they're like,
feel like they're biting the hand that fed them. Like literally, Discord, it's like for gamers. Like gamers made Discord popular. I literally really use Discord outside of gaming, and I feel like Discord stock had recently risen, and they get a little bit of money, and now it's like, oh, we don't need you gamers anymore. We have better company now. We're now a chat app.
Yeah, well, I'll be interested to see what kind of changes they make to go down that path because, the way it works now, I mean, I think it's actually a really good app for games for like game talk, like game chat. But I agree with you though, Tiara, that it's like they are literally just kicking away the community that made them what they are. Basically, without gamers, they wouldn't have a company, really, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be like, this is not the first time. I mean, Xbox One tried to do that with us. You see how bad that turned out for them. So,
well, they're idiots. That was just pure idiocy. Like they're literally making a video game console and saying it's not for gamers. Like, okay, but no, like Discord here, like I don't know. It's interesting because we were talking about a pre-show. Is that we're not. I don't think this is surprising necessarily. Like you said, Montrell, the allegations that have come out recently, and just the fact that the video game community is inherently toxic, I think is it's interesting that I think a lot of these companies, if they can, will try to get away from our community if they can. Because like you said this pre-show, Twitch is doing a similar thing, like really trying to boost the non-gaming content on the platform,
Yeah. Oh shoot. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted because like a huge bug in my room.
Oh my god. Kill it.
It's just like I don't think it's like a grasshopper. Fucking
okay.
Anyway, Twitch did this. Twitch is doing the same thing because Twitch has a whole other platform that a lot of gamers don't even know. Like I just discovered this myself. A whole ton of different categories for like just watching stuff like in real life situations, or people they follow someone around with like a webcam and all these other categories, ASMR and all this stuff like that. I think one of our coworkers is like a huge ASMR fan. He actually watches Twitch and YouTube for that. And I just didn't know about it. And I think Twitch, now that Mixer's gone, they're going to try to rebrand themselves as well. I think a lot of these apps that gamers primarily use are going to they're going to start rebranding themselves once they get big. Once they use gamers for what they want to use them for, and then go about their business. I think Discord is trying to do that because a lot of people use Discord servers for other stuff like YouTube channels and among other things. They use it for
Reddit. There's Reddit's oftentimes have a Discord channel.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it makes sense from that aspect, but I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's like, it's sad, but I kind of get it from the company's perspective because gaming culture is so like high maintenance is I guess the word I'll use, because they just yell about fucking everything. There nothing happens that somebody isn't screaming about, you know, at one time or another. And you can say that at large about online culture in general, but I just think it applies to video games, like gamers, more than any other group, because I'm in that, you know, I live in that, and I just see it all the time. Like my Twitter feed is mostly gaming content, and the amount, there's no post that goes by without somebody being pissed off about it, offended about it, screaming about it, trying to sending people death threats about it. It's like at a certain point, it's not even worth it. If you can make yourself successful without us, do it. Because it's going to be way less stressful for you, you know, like just existing and having like a company and a platform and whatever you're trying to do, you know.
Yeah. Gaming is toxic though. Like the gaming community is toxic. Yeah.
I mean, there's a silent majority that isn't toxic, but that's the thing. They're silent. So most of the people who are talking like are the ones being loud and angry about things. So it's like, it's an unfortunate situation. It really ties into what we were talking about last week about the sexual abuse stuff. It's just like, it's just this like whole thing with gaming, like that is just ugly at the moment. And I like it. It annoys me that Discord is doing this, but at the same time, I get it. You know. You guys have any other thoughts on this?
No.
All right, fair enough. Montrell, are you there? You killing the bug, dude?
Oh, I have my mic on mute. Yeah, I'm trying to kill
Oh
it.
my god. Do you have any other thoughts on Discord?
No. I feel like you guys summed up. I was listening to everything you guys said. I feel like you guys summed it up pretty well, though.
All right, fair enough. By the way, those of you listening to us, we love you, okay? I know you're gamers and we were talking some trash about gamers, but we love you. You know, we appreciate you listening to us. You're not toxic. I assume you're not toxic.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta be realistic about ourselves. I mean,
right.
That's true. That is true. We do need to be self-reflective.
Given the state of the gaming community as of late,
it's not great. It's not great. So I guess this is us trying to be self-reflective as a whole about gaming. But you know, I don't want to throw stones at everybody. It's not true of everyone. Like, I just want to make sure that's clear. So, all right, let's move on to this one got me and Montrell so excited. Oh, so excited. And this is an example of toxicity, actually. Pokemon Unite was announced by the Pokemon Company last week, and it's a MOBA, baby. It's a Pokemon MOBA. Could you think of something better for Pokemon right now, in my opinion? Like a genre that it isn't in, that it should be in?
It got a lot of hate.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So
much.
So I tweeted out. So I was joking, but I tweeted out the only people Western gamers hate MOBAs because they're terrible at it. Go play Overwatch. And that I had to delete the tweet because I got so much hate. Because a lot of people play Overwatch because they can't play MOBAs. Like, they're like, like every time you hear, I know this is probably get off the whole subject, but every time you hear people talk about Overwatch, they talk about it as if it's a MOBA, and they don't play MOBAs. So they're like, oh, this character got reworked, or oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this balance check. I'm like, man, this sound like a MOBA. It sound like League of Legends or Dota to me. And when this shit got announced, people were fucking mad. They're like, why is Pokemon becoming a MOBA? No one asked for this. Well, actually, a lot of people asked for this, because I remember me and you talked about it off mic. We're like, man, bro, Pokemon MOBA will actually make sense. And now they're actually doing it. So
there's no other genre that makes more sense for Pokemon. Like, they have an endless roster of characters they can make. Like, dude, the idea of evolution mechanics, which they showed in the trailer, is like such a perfect progression thing within the game. Like it, dude, it just makes itself. It makes itself. I'm sorry for all of you who are disappointed that this wasn't something else. It, like, to me, this is so smart. This is like this is, forget mobile games, dude. This is it. Like, this is it to me. Like, this could be a smash hit.
But what's so interesting about this game is that it is crossplay between the Switch and mobile phones.
Yeah.
Like, think about crossplay, you think about Xbox, PS4, PC. You never really think about your phone and another device. So that's kind of interesting. Crossplay, Switch.
That's a risk, because if the game is not as playable on mobile as it is on the Switch, that's going to be a problem, because you don't want to play a game where you're playing with players that aren't like able to play at as high a level as you are, like, because of the device they're playing on. That could be an ugly thing. So we'll see how that plays out. It depends on what they're. Sorry, say that again.
It's going to be free.
Yeah. Yes, it is going to be free, which, I mean, makes sense. All successful MOBAs are free. So that's no surprise to me. But I do wonder about the monetization model. If they're going to go more of a league route or like a Dota route, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see that. To me, I think the Dota one is easier for people to get into, but it's also riskier because you're giving away the game basically for free. But I don't know if a new game that isn't, like, I don't know, Pokemon maybe could pull this off, but I think it's hard for a new MOBA to require you to buy characters,
No, Pokemon can definitely pull it off. The thing is, I don't know if the majority of Pokemon fans are MOBA fans. So,
no, dude, the audience that's going to play this game is not Pokemon fans. That's the funny part.
I think the Eastern side, that's like that's why this makes sense. If I'm thinking like globalization wise, say I'm a Pokemon company and I'm thinking like this, a lot of users probably are on the Eastern side, like Japan, Korea, China. They probably already play MOBAs and are used to that platform. So it makes sense from that perspective. Especially, I think this is being developed by one of the companies under Tencent, I believe.
Yeah,
I think so.
No, it is Tencent.
Oh, it is Tencent. So yeah,
I did say last week, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that Tencent doesn't like make games. Sorry, I misspoke. They do make games. They're just not, like, they have their own development studios.
Yeah,
but they're not named like the way they are in Western dev, like, or even other Eastern developers. It's just, they are just Tencent.
Yeah, So it makes sense from that perspective. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't do it sooner, but it makes sense from that perspective. Like, hey, we're making money. Mobile gaming is super huge in the East compared to the West. It's just now getting big in the West, in my opinion, within like the last 5 years.
With like what, Smite?
Well, not like mobile gaming in general, like gacha games and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
That stuff just became super popular within like the last 5 to 8 years rather. And a lot of people are now catching up to what the East is already doing. Like the Eastern gaming, Eastern mobile gaming has been blowing up since like the early 2000s. Like they've been on this shit before the Android phones and everything like that. Like I remember Kingdom Hearts game was released on a mobile game over there, and it blew up over there. So, like we're just now catching up. So it makes sense for Pokemon to do that as well. So this is why I think that this is the route they did it for, which makes sense of why a lot of Western gamers are upset, because I think the numbers for like Dota and League came out, and like the NA servers only got like 1 or 2 million players concurrently, which is a lot to me, but apparently that's not a lot. So compared to like the rest of the world as far as mobile numbers, and it makes sense that a lot of gamers hate it, because a lot of people are like, they watch me play League, they like, man, it's fun, it looks fun to play, but I can never get into the shit because I just don't like.
Well, dude, the effort you need to learn the game is high.
Yeah.
Like the barrier to entry in these games is extremely high, like ridiculously so. And I think Western gamers aren't prepared for that level of commitment. Like they don't want to commit to a game like that. I think they've been conditioned to just jump in and play games. Like that is what they want. So I think that's why MOBAs are like not as popular over here. as they are in other places.
Yeah.
But to me, like MOBAs to me are like the height of gameplay in terms of strategy, design, mechanics, and things like that. Like it is the epitome of what I think a game can be in terms of like pure competition, you know? And I don't know. I just like Pokemon, dude. This excites me on multiple levels because not only am I excited for this game, but it also excites me for the fact that the Pokemon company is actually thinking about like expanding the genres that Pokemon is in, and that in and of itself means that like the sky is kind of the limit for this because Pokemon can be applied to so many genres. It's insane. You know, it's like I always wanted like the internet's always had this like, you know, discussion of like pie in the sky, like what would we want out of Pokemon, like a Pokemon MMO kind of thing. And I would love that, but it's like this means this game kind of shows that maybe that's possible someday, you know?
Yeah, I think this shows that a lot of other games may come back. Like I actually want the Pokemon Conquest game to come back because that was like
that was so cool.
Yeah, that was like a RTS, not an RTS, but like a strategy
that
game.
was like Brigandine. That game, Brigandine, that I just was telling you about earlier. That's Pokemon Conquest is that kind of game.
Yeah, and I actually liked it, and they just never revisited that ever again. So
yeah,
a lot of people were saying like this can give us hope for like other games, like you just said, and maybe this will fund other projects. Maybe they want to fund other side projects. Maybe Game Freak is not, or Nintendo, or whoever owns the Pokemon IP, who owns the majority share of the Pokemon IP, is not allowing them to do the things they want to do. So I don't know. I think it's I like it. From what I've seen so far, it looks pretty bare bones, but I mean, it's a MOBA, so I'm going to try it out, and it's free to play. So, and like TR said, that it's cross-platform, so I can play it on my Switch or my phone, which is pretty cool.
Right. I'm going to check it out too. Like me and Montrell play this together. Hopefully, maybe.
Oh, I can't play. That's messed up.
I mean, Tiara, if you didn't seem interested in this, hey, if you want to play with us too, you're totally invited. All right.
And it's on the Switch, so we can stream it. I don't know how to stream from my phone, but we can definitely stream it.
That's true. That's also true.
I was thinking maybe you can screen record.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna dominate. We're gonna dominate these kids, okay? These kids that are gonna be playing with us.
8-year-olds,
we're gonna dominate them, like totally destroy them. I'm gonna be playing like Charizard or something and just wreck them. You know, it's not gonna be pretty. But all right, let's move on to our next story. So Cyberpunk had their Night City Wire event, and also there was a ton of preview coverage on Cyberpunk that came out. And I know, Montrell, you don't really want to talk about this, but I just can't contain myself. I have to talk about this. I came out of this whole like all this stuff. I am super hyped for this game. Like it's just. I need it to come. I'm so tired. I'm sad that it got delayed again. Like I really just, man, I want to play this game. Tiara, I know you're excited about it too.
I'm definitely excited about it. Like I said, so as I saw Keanu Reeves, I just knew.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's something about like actors having their likeness in a game just makes the game that much fire. Like Norman Reedus in Death Stranding, Jesse Williams in Detroit Become Human, even the guy who played Madman, in Mad Men, I forget what his name is, but he played the main character in L.A. Noire. He was like the first to.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about?
I don't know if you ever saw Mad Men before.
Yeah, John Hamm. You talking about John Hamm?
No, I'm not talking about John Hamm. I'm talking about the guy. The main character in L.A. Noire, he played a character in Mad Men, and he was the first person to really have his likeness like be transferred to a main character in a game. Like he was like the first one that I was like, oh wow. And then the girl who played Miranda.
Oh yeah, Yvonne Strahovski.
Yeah. Who also plays I don't know if you watched The Handmaid's Tale, who plays Serena in The Handmaid's Tale.
She was from Chuck. That's where I know her from.
That show is way too depressing to watch.
Something about when these actors have their likeness in a video game, I just know that game's going to be fire. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep looking at the gameplay, and I saw some of the some of the videos of gameplay, and I just, man, this game on next gen is just gonna be so good. I can't. CD Projekt is just, I just feel like they're a step above everyone else right now. Like I feel like they're like a step ahead of the rest of the industry in terms of like presentation, design, world design, mechanic design, and just like ambition in general. Like they're going for more than everyone else is,
That's because they put the amount of detail that they put into their games. That's why The Witcher 3 is forever my favorite game of all time. This amount of detail they put into their games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, everybody's like, oh, they really like Assassin's Creed Origin and Odyssey, but they ripped the entire game mechanic straight from The Witcher.
Yeah,
And I don't know why nobody didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Literally, it was plagiarism.
Well, the game design is also ripped from The Witcher as well.
Yes!
Like Odyssey is Odyssey is like the same thing, just like in a different place with different characters. It's like presented the same way.
It's like when you play fighting games and you buy a skin for a character. The gameplay is still the same. The character looks different.
It's like
what happened.
It's like a blue costume instead of orange. Like that's
I was very amazed that nobody was picking up on this. Like, am I the only one who sees this?
No,
like,
you're
I
not allowed
totally
to think that. You're not allowed to think that because people might be like, oh, well, you're just hating on the game. Like, no, it's the same game, bro.
As many hours I spent on The Witcher 3, like everything was the same. Like even in Odyssey, like the thing you hold, either the X or the A, depending on what you're playing on, and to get your horse to follow the path. I was like, wow, that came directly from Witcher. Like,
yep. Well, even the design of like dialogue with the choice system and everything, it's like it's all so similar. It's not bad. It's just it really is like
way worse than similar. It's plagiarism. I don't understand why they don't sue Ubisoft. Like, it's plagiarism. I just could not believe it. And I was like, why are more people not talking about this?
Well, because it's Assassin's Creed.
2 games in a row.
I think it's because of the distance between the games. Like there was 3.5 years between the two of them.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I mean, I am super excited for Cyberpunk, right? I'm like dummy excited for it. And I watched ever since I saw the first gameplay reveal, like it was 45 minutes of gameplay they showed. I was super excited about it. And then I went on a media blackout. So that's why I didn't watch this one because I'm on a media blackout for it. But my thing is like I'm waiting for I don't know if they're gonna do another Witcher game, but if this game looks like this, I'm like super stoked for like the next Witcher game whenever that shit comes out.
Right? The studio is just right now. Like I feel like I'm a fanboy. I can't. They
have to come out with a new Witcher game. Like The Witcher has popularity.
They're talking about it. They're talking about a 4th game, and like what that would look like. I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't play as Geralt. Who knows? But
I want to play a Ciri.
Like Montrell said. Sorry.
I personally want to play as Lambert, but that's just me.
I doubt it. He doesn't have the star power that
He was my favorite character.
I know, but he doesn't have the star power that Ciri does or Geralt.
I'm
gonna play a Ciri.
I mean, playing a Ciri was cool. I mean, you get to play with her in little portions of the game in The Witcher 3. That was okay.
I loved her gameplay. Like little bits. Once I powered up Geralt, I was like, okay, I can see why she's not liked as much. But if you power up Ciri like that, man, the teleporting shit, that shit was so fucking fire.
So,
anyway, getting back to Cyberpunk.
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't know. This company is like, they are what BioWare was 10 years ago.
Yes,
and
yeah.
It's like, I am glad they at least took the mantle, because the idea of not having a company like this out here right now that has like just wants to make the best games in the industry, it like that would be depressing, right? Like these guys just are like, their ambition blows my mind what they're trying to do with games.
They've been working on this game even before The Witcher was released. The Witcher was released in 2015, right?
Yeah, they've been working on this since like 2011, I think.
Yeah, because I remember I saw concept art for it when I was a degenerate and I was searching 4chan. I saw concept art for it in V, and people were like, "Oh man, I can't wait for this fucking game to come out," and other shit like that. And I just kept seeing.
Searching on 4chan for.
I was on the Reddit, or not the Reddit board, but the image board V for video games. I used to search on that one a lot because they used to talk about a whole bunch of different shit on there, and it was just funny as fuck to look at it.
They actually announced this game back in like 2012.
Really?
So yeah, no, they did. It just went into the back burner when they started working on Witcher 3, and after that game, they finally like committed to it. So I don't think this was a primary project for a while, for like the first few years, but they've been working on it for a long time. So, and we've known about it for a long time too. And people have the internet's just been like chomping at the bit for a long time about it. But
I'm just really curious about the open world mechanics. Like, I want to see them put, like, when this game comes out, I want everyone to shut the, because already this looks better than GTA. Like, already. And
my god, yeah. Are you kidding me?
I think this game is going to put GTA to shame, and people are going to be like, if GTA 6 ever comes out, which I don't think it's coming out for another 10 fucking years, but when this game comes out, and I know Rockstar employees are going to play this game, and once they play this game, they're going to be like, yo, we got to go back to the drawing board. We can't, it's just not where it's going to be at. Because I think the open world mechanics that they showed was not scripted. A lot of that shit was just like happening while the game was playing. And of course, some of it may be scripted, but I don't know. They did the same thing with The Witcher when I remember that game got released, and I was mind blown by that game. But now that shit looks like fucking, that looked like a Sega Genesis game compared to this game. Like, what the fuck?
All right, let's not go that far, Montrell. Okay, Witcher 3 is still phenomenal.
No, it is. It is a phenomenal game. I'm saying, I think Cyberpunk is going to exceed my
next step.
Yeah. They're going to take it to the next level.
You just said it, dude. This company is literally the only one in video games that actually exceeds my expectations, which just seems mind-blowing given how hyped I've been for their games before. Like, Witcher 3 I was super hyped for, and that game exceeded my expectations. This game I'm super hyped for, and I am, maybe this is unreasonable of me, but I am expecting it to exceed those expectations again. It's like, I don't know, man. I've seen all this preview coverage. It's like kind of affirming the way I feel about it. It's like, dude, they like, people are saying, okay, I don't want to say this because I don't want to, like, you're on media blackout, Montrell, so I don't
you can go ahead.
I don't want to spoil anything.
You can still talk about it. I don't care.
Okay. All right. There's 3 starting areas depending on what background you choose when you create your character. Ooh. And they all have their own like intro, like 2-hour starting quest. And
they kind of reminds me of Dragon Age
and Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, but yeah, they're like, they have their own quest that leads into the main quest, and they're in completely different areas. One of them starts you outside the city. One of them you're in the city, like in the slums, and then another one you're like you're in like a corporate office building. You know, it's like completely different areas to start in. So
this game, they are BioWare, because that is Dragon Age Origins, depending on if you chose the elf, the human,
right? That's what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah.
If you chose like the dwarf, you were in the deep roads. You know, you could have been, if you were a noble, you were like in a castle or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so that's definitely Dragon Age Origin.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, get hyped. This game is gonna be crazy. Like, I know you've had
just made buy a PS5 just for this game.
Well, that was what I was gonna say. Don't fucking play this game on this gen. No, don't play it on PS4 or Xbox One, please. Please don't.
No, I already decided that now that, you know, I'm employed again. But
yeah, man.
I already decided that I'm buying the PS5 like straight out launch, because I mean, like you said last week, there's really no reason to have the PS4. They already confirmed that a lot of the games are going to be backwards compatible. So, yeah, I'm just about to jump straight into the PS5. And
this will be the game I play first.
Yeah, like, for sure.
And oh my god, I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be so good. Yeah, I don't know. This year has been kind of crazy with the amount of like high quality releases we've gotten. I mean, I expect this out of the final year of a console generation, but I like the fact that this game is probably going to be better than anything we've played so far is actually kind of crazy to me. Like,
the fact that this game is a first generation game for the next gen consoles is fucking scary to me. Because imagine what the last generation of games are going to look like for that console generation.
That is what I've been saying, man. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time, ever since PS5 and Xbox Series X have been announced, is that the shit these developers are going to be able to do on the next generation is going to be absolutely crazy. Like we don't even know what they're going to be able to do. You know, like I don't even think we can envision what some of the features and mechanics in these games are going to be that they can pull off. You know,
Yeah.
So,
I'm just ready for it to be, like y'all ever seen that Black Mirror episode, Striking Vipers?
Is that the one where what was his name? Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, and he played with his best friend.
Oh my god, that episode was so crazy.
Right. Well, minus the wild stuff, I'm ready for it to be like immersion like that. Like I can actually feel like I'm inside of the video game. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm ready for.
I think we're heading there. I do. I really do. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. We're hyped for it. We will be covering it on this show for damn sure.
I would definitely be streaming that shit. So
hell yeah. All right, let's move on to our final story, and then we can wrap up. Marvel's Avengers had a new trailer.
Best game of the year. What are you talking about? This is better than Cyberpunk.
Talk about stark contrast, man. Hype versus de-hype. So yeah, they released a gameplay trailer of Thor. And I mean, what did you guys think of this?
So some quick background about that, right? So they released earlier gameplay footage of Thor and Iron Man, and the developers actually, or the playtesters, told them verbatim, because the playtesters actually came out on Twitter. I guess their NDA ended, and they were actually able to talk about the game. And a lot of people said like, "Hey, we went to them and told them that Thor and Iron Man gameplay was fucking boring as fuck. We liked the Captain America and Black Widow gameplay, but the Thor and Iron Man ones like need to be revamped." And a lot of people were like, "Looks like they didn't take our our advice." Because holy shit,
oh my god, what is that, dude? I'm watching it right now. Ugh, this game doesn't look good. I'm sorry, I can't get past that. I mean, what do you guys think of it? Like, what are your impressions of it so far? I guess what you've seen and what your feelings are on it.
So far, what I've seen, I would have been more satisfied if it was a single player game. They do have a single player campaign, so I'm not stretching that out. I just don't know how it's going to look like. I think you can play up to 4 players or something like that. I know it's a live service game. I just don't know how it's going to look. Like, what is that going to look like? Like, maybe the game will come together when everyone's playing. But, like, I don't know. We got Marvel Ultimate Alliance for that. Like, that's why I play that game.
That's what I was thinking about. Like, we already got Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
And people love that game, yo. So
I love Marvel Ultimate Alliance as well.
Yeah, and so it's like you have to compete with that. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance was not like a super AAA game. It was like a beat 'em up game made with Marvel characters, and they did it really well. So to have all this money back behind this game and all this hype, you have to compete with like a double A game that's like exceeded a lot of expectations. So I think they have a really uphill battle, and from what I've seen so far, I'm not impressed. The only gameplay I liked was Captain Marvel and not Captain Marvel, but Black Widow and Captain America's gameplay. But like I said, that's far. I don't know how the rest of the game is gonna play with those two characters and like Iron Man and fucking Thor and Hulk and shit like that. Like, it just looks weird. Like, the whole thing looks so. Every gameplay element they show looks scripted. I don't like that.
That makes any sense. Dude, it's like they're fighting these like robot enemies. It's just fucking Thor, dude. Like what is this? I don't know who this villain is that they're fighting or whatever, but like these fodder enemies they're fighting just look so stupid and lame to me. You know, they just like generic robot enemies. You know, I don't know. They don't have any personality to them, and it's like,
well, I mean, like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance won't have like generic enemies like that, but for some reason, I don't know, Tiara, maybe you can enlighten me on why that game was so fucking fun. But that shit was fun as fuck to play.
But
like,
it's a beat 'em up though.
Yeah.
It's not presented as something more than that. You know, that's what this game looks like it's trying to be. It's trying to be more than that, and it's like it's not though. I think that's the point. It's like it's basically a beat 'em up but third person. You know, and I don't know. Like, I'm seeing Thor in this like costume. He's just wearing like a regular t-shirt with like jeans. It's like what is even happening?
I think that's like supposed to be like the
cosmetics.
Yeah, like you know, the regular Thor from one of the movies or whatever. But that was
Right.
another thing too. I was debating with somebody about as well. One of my friends. A lot of people were upset that the characters didn't look like the movie characters, and I understood why they didn't go that route, because probably licensing, and it would cost a shit ton of money just to use the likeness of the actors. But you have to expect. Iron Man came out, and which was I think that's considered the start of the MCU. Iron Man came out in 2008, I want to say.
Yeah, right.
So we have a whole generation of people who grew up. Not only us who were like 15 or 16 when this shit came out, or 18 or 19 when this shit came out, but like we have a generation of people who grew up 12 years. Robert Downey Jr. has been the face of Iron Man. Then you have like, you know,
Chris Evans
is the face
America.
of Captain America, and
Right.
Black Widow is what's her face? I can't remember her name, but
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. So you have these faces like. For years, these have been the faces for all these characters. And even the comic books have started modeling the characters themselves after these actors.
Yeah.
So
I remember when Nick Fury became black all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. So when Nick Fury became black, and you got all these characters pushing that, right? Like you expect when they first launched or showed this game, I even said like these models look terrible. Like they're ugly.
We both said that.
Yeah, and it's not because they weren't the movie. It was just like they just didn't look right.
They look generic. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have any personality to them. And I don't know. I was telling my brother this when we were talking about it yesterday. Like it's not. This game is too late. Like
Yes.
this game needed to come out a year and a half ago after Infinity War came out,
Yes.
and before Endgame came out. A year and a half after Endgame came out, I just like, who cares? Like I feel like we're past this culturally. Like the Avengers. Like maybe that's stupid of me, but it's like I feel that way. I
think you're right. I think you're right. I think we're past it. I think Endgame, solidified that. Even though they got like a whole nother phase coming out, but I think like Endgame solidified that Marvel, that key Avengers phase that everyone knew about.
Yep.
And it's gone, and we're not going to get it back.
Right.
So it's just it just released at a weird time. The announcement was weird, like everything. And then the simple fact that it was like a Square game, I was expecting like more. This may be the weeb inside me, but like more anime-ish type shit going on, and it's just like not that. It's made by Eidos Montreal, so it's like. It's more westernized as far as the gameplay wise and everything of that nature. So I was kind of disappointed from that aspect as well. But I mean, as far as like the design and everything like that, a lot of people were like, well, Peter Parker doesn't look like Tom Holland and Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was actually a good game. When they showed the footage, like we didn't see Peter Parker, we saw Spider-Man's costume, we saw gameplay. We saw enemies that looked like they belonged there and they had personality, like you said. And even though that's like technically a beat 'em up game, like it was fun. It's fun to look at. It's fun to play. They built the game around it and everything of that nature. With this one, you got 4 or 5 or 6 different heroes with different play styles, and we don't know how they all play together. You're telling us this is a game that you play together, but you haven't really showed us any footage of them playing multiplayer, unless I haven't been looking that hard.
Well, that's what this latest trailer showed, was some multiplayer, and they also showed like kind of the equipment system and stuff, and it just looks like generic Destiny Anthem kind of garbage.
It may end up being like For Honor. Like For Honor's a game where you have different characters that play differently, but there are modes where you play together on a team. So it may play like that.
But it looks like Destiny meets Anthem.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a beat 'em up. I mean,
with like superhero characters in it.
Yeah,
and
I'm a fan of a beat 'em up, though.
You say what?
I said I'm a big fan of a beat 'em up.
I am too. I'm a huge fan of beat 'em up games, but for some reason this game is just not grabbing me right now. I don't, like I said, it looks like one of these games you actually have to play. Like if you show it to someone, like if you show somebody Destiny gameplay, people are like, but then when you play the game, it's like, oh shit, this is actually really intuitive. Like Destiny 1 was like that for me, or the early Destiny 1 was like that for me. but I think this is going to be the same thing. I don't want to hate on it and say like, oh, it's just terrible looking. I would need to actually play it first. This is one of those games I need to play.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to want to, though, you know? I mean, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Like, it depends on what's out around that time. Cyberpunk getting out of that month is probably good for this game, for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because, yeah, I think this is supposed to be coming in September, but I don't know. It's just like the idea that like Thor's throwing like Mjolnir at these like fodder enemies and they're not dying in one hit is like really weird, you know, and like gamey in a bad way. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but it's like it's just something about this game is just not doing it for me. And I think marketing's got something to do with it too. Eidos kind of has a history of this with Deus Ex Mankind Divided too. You remember the pre-order campaign for that game?
Oh yeah.
How much of a disaster that was?
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, they're not. It's not this bad, or it's not that bad with this game. It's just less like there's just no excitement for the game. You know, it's like remember the E3 presentation from last year. They had like a 5-minute like thing where they showed a video of the voice actors all talking to each other around a round table. You know, it's like that's how you're gonna hype people for this game that you've never showed. Like what?
That pissed me the fuck off when I waited for that shit. And they're like, yeah, not really any gameplay, but we're going to show these actors off. And I'm just like, oh, right. Okay.
It's like they were so proud they got like Troy, Travis, and Laura Bailey like all together. It's like okay. We great.
Like not everyone else has these actors too.
I know. I say they voice like 50% of video games. So, you know, good job, guys. Like, you know, it's like, I mean, the thing is they're great voice actors, but
there definitely needs to be diversity, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's true, but that's one piece of a game, though. Like the game's got to be good, right? So I don't know. I'm not excited for this game, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. I don't know. I hope it does. I hope it does better than I think it will. But all right. You guys have any more thoughts on that?
No.
All right. Well, let's wrap up then. So that's it, I guess, for this week. So if you guys like the episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. If you'd like to talk to us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. I am at Thundernut01. The show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Otherwise, we are done this week. Like I said earlier in the episode, Montrell and I will be doing a spoiler cast for The Last of Us 2 some point this week, and that will be going up some point later in the week or early next week, so look forward to that. And next week, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. Hopefully something will be revealed or dropped on us. We'll see, I guess. Otherwise, we hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one. All right, bye guys.